So Leon Edwards just got his shish kebabbed against Sean Brady, and it was kind of crazy to see. I mean, Leon Edwards in the past was looked at as a very, very well-rounded fighter, very solid grappling, very good striking, but none of that was really there yesterday in the slightest. And people are asking at this point a very fair question. What the hell happened to Leon Edwards? I mean, he reached the highest highs. He beat Kamaru Usman. He beat Colby Covington. And now he's off a fucking cliff. I mean, he is pretty much going through his Tyron Woodley era right now. And it seems like it came from nowhere. But what if I told you it didn't? What if I told you, no, Leon Edwards just might not have been that good? At least in the sense that, look, pretty much the way to beat Leon Edwards, unfortunately, is out there, all right? For any competent coach, for any competent YouTube game planner like myself, his strengths and his weaknesses are pretty well defined. And on top of that, Sean Brady legitimately might be the best grappler in the welterweight division. Going into this fight, I was very, very worried for Leon Edwards because, again, Belal Muhammad essentially exposed pretty much everything you need to know about his strengths and his weaknesses. But the only thing that Leon Edwards had to say about that performance was, I was injured though. I was injured. I had a little knot here. I tweaked my back a little bit. And when you look at that Belal Muhammad fight, to me, nothing about that fight screams injury. All right, I think you can take some very interesting parallels from the Kamaru Usman fight to the Belal Muhammad fight because both of them had a fairly similar approach. That was try to get in Leon's face, try to pressure him, try to get in on takedowns. But the problem with Kamaru Usman was his boxing, just being honest, fairly overrated, all right? He has a very solid 1-2, but that is it. I mean, that is literally it. So he was looking to land individual power shots against Leon Edwards. Big jabs, big right hands, big occasional lead left hook. And the problem was Leon Edwards can handle these individual shots. These shots were not overwhelming Leon. So when Usman was chaining these shots in the takedowns, Leon was seeing it coming and he was able to defend the takedown early enough and prevent it. Whereas when you look at the Belal Muhammad fight, Belal was getting right in Leon's face and he was lighting him up with combinations, landing uppercuts, landing short hooks, putting it together so much better than Usman was. And again, this was overwhelming Leon. He couldn't handle it and therefore he was covering up, which just left his hips wide open. I mean, again, look at the difference between this sequence right here and this sequence right here. Leon is not even defending yet, and Belal already has his hands locked behind him because, again, he was setting it up so much better with the short combinations. Now, you look at Sean Brady. He was very, very capable of using essentially this exact same game plan that Belal Muhammad used. Both of them are very stocky, boxing-heavy grapplers. And that is exactly what Sean Brady did. From the very start of this fight, he got right in Leon's face, was landing the short combinations. This was making Leon uncomfortable. Leon, again, doesn't have a tremendous amount of power in his hands. He's not that strong of a boxer. Look, if Leon Edwards had Sean O'Malley's skill set where, he will put your lights out if you try to get in his face recklessly, then, this kind of game plan wouldn't work, but that's just not Leon Edwards. I mean, look at this sequence right here. At the very start of round 3, Brady gets right in Leon's face. Leon right here lands a good shot, but he doesn't quite have the power or the sting you need to here, so Brady just stays in his face. Leon even steps in and lands a fairly clean elbow, and Brady is completely undeterred, just stayed on him, got right in his face. This made Leon so uncomfortable that he took probably one of the fucking worst takedown attempts I've ever seen, which immediately got stuffed and immediately got punished on the ground. I mean, it was so clear. Brady knew the game plan. Him and his team were so well prepared. I mean, look, he has Dean Thomas in his corner, and I do legitimately respect Dean Thomas's mind when it comes to MMA and game planning. And fucking very, very clearly, they looked at what Belal Muhammad did. They saw that Sean Brady had pretty much a very similar skill set, and they capitalized on it so easily. I think the big difference between Brady and Belal is that Belal overall overall is a better wrestler. I mean, he showed in the Leon fight his ability to transition and chain these different takedowns together, whether or not it's a double leg to a knee tap to a high crotch. Again, all around, his wrestling is better, whereas Sean Brady comes from a pure jiu-jitsu background. He is the best on the ground. But, regardless of that slight difference, Brady and Belal both had a key advantage over Usman and Colby Covington. When Colby or Usman got Leon down, Leon had no problem turtling, standing back up. But you just can't do that the same way against Brady or against Belal Muhammad. The second you turtle to get to your knees to try to stand back up, they're going to punish you with either a body lock or a back take. Specifically Brady, again, coming from that pure jiu-jitsu background, just absolutely dominated Leon every which way. I mean, Leon had no hope of getting back up. He was getting smashed in bottom half guard, and anytime he tried to turtle to try to get away, it would just immediately get punished. And, he was screwed no matter where this fight went on the ground, because Brady is legitimately world class. Something that I find so fascinating that nobody really talks about is, did you guys know Sean Brady had a grappling match against somebody who was considered the second best grappler in the world in Craig Jones? And do you know that Sean Brady fucking won? I mean, it's so crazy. Combat sports fans love crossover fights. Like, they absolutely love it. We all loved it when Conor McGregor tried to fight Floyd Mayweather. We loved it when Francis Ngannou went out there and did what he did against Tyson Fury. But, obviously this crossover event clearly did not reach those same heights. And, obviously that's for a few key reasons. For one, at the time this match happened, Sean Brady was fairly unproven. I mean, he was, I wouldn't say he was a household name yet in the slightest. And of course, like you'd imagine, there are some very heavy caveats when it comes to him winning the match. For starters, there were no heel hooks allowed, which I always find kind of interesting in these matches, because heel hooks are completely allowed in MMA. Like, you're 100% allowed to do any kind of heel hook you want. Heel hooks happen in MMA, right? Ryan Hall destroyed BJ Penn's leg with a heel hook. Chase Hooper has won fights via heel hook. Corey Sandhagen actually really fucked up TJ Dillashaw's knee with a heel hook, but most people don't catch it because it was at the very, very end of the round. So again, I mean, heel hooks are a thing in MMA, but, when it comes to these grappling matches, they stay away from it. And obviously, Craig Jones' A game is leg locks and heel hooks. Though leg locks were still allowed. Like, you're allowed to attack your opponent's legs. It just can't be a heel hook in particular. But Craig, out of courtesy, just didn't even attack his legs at all, just didn't even try. So what we ended up getting was Craig pulls guard, Sean goes on top in half guard, and nothing happened. Like, nothing was achieved here at all. It was a complete stalemate, because every single time Craig would try to grab any kind of a grip, Brady would just yank himself away and then continue to pressure into Craig's knee shield. So, again, nothing happened. So at the end of the 8-minute match, the judges looked around at each other and went, okay, Sean Brady wins. But regardless, that is still wildly impressive. I mean, it wasn't like Brady was just running away the whole time. I mean, for those who remember, Brendan Schaub, back in his heyday, had a professional grappling match against, a world-class opponent in Cyborg Abreu. And Brendan Schaub literally kept running away the whole time, and then was proud and cocky about it afterwards.
So your objective was to shut down his game?
Yeah, with my training through, Huron and Henry Gracie and Jason Manley, the goal was to shut him down. For me, it was a success. Shutting him down for 20 minutes was a success for Brendan Schaub.
As long as I live as a fighter, I'll never run from a fight like that.
I've never ran.
No problem.
I've never ran. I've shut things down.
But look, no. Sean Brady absolutely engaged in the grappling with a world-class grappler, and he won the match. I mean, he is again arguably the best grappler in the entire division. I think, though, with all of this being said, the unfortunate thing is, I do think Belal Muhammad in particular is a very difficult matchup for Sean Brady, because of the fact that, obviously they fought not that long ago. Brady got TKO'd on the feet. Now, I saw a lot of people saying after this fight, no, Brady has improved so much from then. He's a completely different fighter. maybe, but no matter what, right, the big issue is Brady needs to answer Belal's pressure. What Belal likes to do is he likes to get right in your face. He likes to overwhelm you with the tight boxing in close. If you land on him, he doesn't give a fuck. He throws right back, stays in your face, and he tries to break you down with pressure. Whether or not Brady has greatly improved his boxing or not, does he have the power to actually keep Belal off of him? I think that's the big issue. Geoff Neal, for a good example, I think is a really bad matchup for Belal Muhammad. They fought, a few years ago, and Geoff was cracking him in the pocket. And this actually did kind of stun Belal, and this did sort of prevent his pressure. But even if Brady has improved his boxing, I don't think he's quite capable of that. I don't think he's necessarily known for a tremendous amount of power. So that pressure issue theoretically is always going to be there. And of course, the other big problem is for how elite Brady is on the ground, Belal Muhammad is a better wrestler. Belal Muhammad's takedown defense is absolutely phenomenal. So I don't know if Sean Brady would ever actually be able to take Belal to the ground. I mean, it's possible, but it has to be set up so well. And the only way he's really going to be able to set it up perfectly is, again, to stop Belal's pressure. And that, I think, is going to be the hard part. I think he needs to find a way to hold his ground in the center, not get backed up at all, which, look, I do think he's capable of. But, again, if you land on Belal, he doesn't care. He's going to immediately throw right back at you. And Brady absolutely did land on Belal a fair amount of times, and he just never had the ability to really stun him, to really make Belal respect the power. But of course, Belal is getting up there in age. Eventually the wheels are going to fall off of this guy. I mean, the gear that he is constantly blasting can only help you so much. And again, I have to preface this. I love fucking steroids. I love them. I'm not hating. I love steroids. It's just a part of Belal's game, though, in my opinion. So, of course, I'm going to bring it up. But, it seems like no matter how hard I preface that, people in the comments still sort of take it as if I'm complaining. I don't think steroids are cheating. I think everyone should be on steroids. I love steroids. But now that disclaimer is over, the welterweight division is so fucking sick right now. The new guard is pretty much completely taken over. To have Shavkat, JDM, Sean Brady, Ian Gary, Belal all at the top right now. There are so many interesting matchups. I think, honestly, I would love to see Sean Brady now fight Shavkat for a number one contender fight. After that, take on the winner of JDM Belal. I think it's very, very interesting. And the welterweight division, I think it's doing pretty well right now, to say the very least.